Good evening, people, and how we doing? I need some help. I really don't know what I'm going to do with my front bumper yet. As you know, I did the 4th gen bumper swap, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do to fill the gap. I like the way they look on the 2nd gens, but what I don't like is the gap it leaves in between the grill and the top of the bumper, and then also this gap here. This gap you can't see unless you get right on top of it. But I don't really know what I want to do. What are you guys looking at? Say nothing, because I gotta hold the camera like that. Anyway, I really don't know what I want to do. I have a couple of different ideas, but I mean, I can do either one. It doesn't really matter to me, but obviously I want to do the easiest and the simplest. First one being is kind of where that comes into play. Don't mind all that stuff back there. My German Shepherd decided she wanted to start chewing, so she started attacking all my wife's flamingo stuff in her flamingo garden. So it's getting that time of year anyway where we got to start pulling stuff out and getting the summer stuff put away. So anyway, that's kind of what I have on the agenda today, is trying to figure out what I want to do as far as start closing the gap. How's that? I want to close the gap. All right, my only dilemma with doing this, filling this center section in here, is if you look at these outside edges, they have contour to them. See that? So what I'm gonna have to do there is I'm gonna have to, after I make my piece, you gotta leave it long from here to here, which I want to do that anyway. And then I'm also going to push the bumper all the way back, and then I'm going to cut these ends off and re-weld this return on, which is not a big deal. I'll just have to trim just a little bit of the lower valance off, which is not a big deal also. But if I go with that scenario, which is filling this center section in, and then, you know, this would go up like this and then terminate right underneath the grill, just like the factory one does. But as you can see from my needle indicator here, that has contour to it. I don't know how you can see it the best, probably right there. So what I'm going to have to do is leave that piece long, which I got to do anyway, and I'm going to have to put that contour in it. And I don't own a plenishing hammer, or nor do I own an English wheel. So I'm going to have to either go buy a plenishing hammer, which, I mean, they sell cheap ones at Harbor Freight, or I'm going to have to find somebody who has one. Now, I'm pretty sure I have a friend of mine in Walpock that has a custom rod shop. I'm pretty sure he has everything I need to make that little filler piece. Now, something else I just thought of too is actually what I'm probably going to lean towards doing. Now, those of you who know the Dodge trucks know that the factory 2nd gen bumper is flat all the way across. Actually, I have mine out in the bed of my truck. I can show you. Now, can you see how that is flat all the way across the top of it? So, second idea is to come through here and cut this off, just this top edge, all the way through there. And just take and cut a couple pieces of flat steel, and if you can see all the way down through there, this section is flat, just continue that on flat. I'm leaning strongly towards that. You know, the only dilemmas you're going to run into is mounting, but that's really not a big deal to me either. You can take, let me grab a light here quick. My trusty pod light from Mechanic. Check them out online, mechanic.com. So, if you look, there is actually quite a bit of room here. You would still be able to probably drill a hole in here someplace on a returned edge and bring this mount down to here. Because if you look over here, this mounts here anyway, so all you really need to do is carry that on through there. I don't know how well you can see, but if you have one that's mounted here and just carry that the rest of the way through and drill another hole right in here someplace, you're going to be just fine, because it's going to match up with that section right there. So that's the challenges I'm kind of faced with. I guess I'm leaning more towards cutting this off and flattening the top of it off all the way through, and then also pushing the bumper back. I do have my box there, and what I'll do is I'll take that box, I'll open it up here. I can get grab a knife. Okay, basically you start off with your piece like this to make your pattern, and you just lay it right in there like that. Now, these end pieces aren't wide enough, as you can see. You just basically put it right in there to start making that pattern. See, it's not wide enough here, so I'll have to grab one of these wider sections, probably one of these. They're just a little bit wider, either that or just use this whole section right here from this joint to that joint. It's not really a joint, it's a break-in just where the box is folded. But anyway, this is kind of where you're going to start at with this. And you just take your Sharpie and you just run to get a rough guesstimate. I mean, that gives you that right there. That gives you that radius for the back side. And then you'll just you won't bring it out, but you'll have your piece sticking out beyond your bumper, and then you'll just reach up under here and draw underneath of it this way. So I don't know. That's woo. I'm trying to do all kinds of things and hold the camera. It's just not working for me. That's kind of where I'm at. Give me a comment. Tell me what you guys think. I think I know what I want to do, but I'm just kind of curious on what you guys think I should do. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. It's just a quick video to try and get some opinions from a few of the people that follow me, and hopefully anybody else that would watch anybody else that would watch this video, give me a comment. Tell me what you think. I think I like the idea of making this whole top edge just flat. Also, another thing that I'm not going to like is once you put this contour on there, this bevel, if you will, and you push this all the way back, you're going to have a gap underneath still, I believe, because you're going to have this shoved back underneath the headlights, and you can kind of see where I'm talking about right here in the turn signal, where it kind of makes the radius around. So you're still going to have just a little bit of a gap, but it's not going to be as noticeable. Another process I've saw done too is where they've actually just taken a piece of flat stock steel and they stood it up on edge right here and just welded it in across. All that did was close that gap. It did nothing for for me, it did nothing for the aesthetics. All it did was close the gap so you couldn't see the AC condenser and your intercooler back there. So I didn't like that. So those are just a couple of the things that I'm kind of dealing with right now. So guys, give me a comment, tell me what you think, let me know what you feel the best way would be. So once again, I appreciate you watching, and hit that like button, subscribe, and we will talk to you later on. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.